What is going on, you beautiful people? In today's video, I actually want to talk about a topic in which men tend to be a little bit resistant towards, and that's inner work. Now, a lot of men have a view on inner work that it's a waste of time, it's woohoo, it's weak, right? These views, they have been cultivated, and more so, not even cultivated from the individual, but more so it's been indoctrinated into men from society, right? From this whole macho, it's weak to fucking do inner work, it's weak to speak. Like, that whole cultural narrative is sort of responsible for the reason that men think, some men, not all men, that some men think that doing the inner work is something that is actually not beneficial to them and actually makes them be seen by others in like a negative or lesser light. Now, the reality is, doing inner work, especially as a man, but also for women as well, but doing inner work does not make you weak. It is not a waste of time. It is not woohoo. It is not this thing that is just a meaningless pursuit. Doing the inner work and gaining mastery over your internal world is probably one of the best things you could possibly do in your entire life, because everything stems from the internal world. Your external is literally a projection of the internal. If you haven't mastered your internal world, or at least cultivated a healthy relationship towards your thoughts and emotions, you are constantly in a state of escapism, okay? You are needing to resort to numbing yourself, to distracting yourself, to running away from yourself, okay? This is where you see a lot of addictions and self-destructive behaviors and self-sabotage patterns stem from. It's just an individual who can't sit with their internal experience, right? Thoughts will come up or emotions will come up. They don't understand how to navigate that internal landscape. And so they need to run, they need to escape, they need to numb themselves, they need to find any way to just get away from that internal experience. And so that's why, one reason why the internal work and actually taking the time to cultivate a healthy relationship towards thoughts and emotions and master your internal world, that's why these things are so crucially important. In no way does doing this make you fucking weak. That is the stupidest narrative that I have ever fucking heard, honestly. If anything, like, if we want to really use this term of like what makes you weak, what makes you strong and more resilient, or, in the masculine terms, harder to kill, doing the inner work makes you fucking harder to kill, right? Mentally. If someone hasn't done the inner work, if someone doesn't have a healthy relationship towards their thoughts and emotions, they are susceptible to manipulation. They are susceptible to being taken advantage of in multiple ways because they don't even have control of their own internal world in their mind. And they are susceptible to just people being able to control them through their thoughts and emotions. What I mean by this is, if you haven't mastered your internal world and you are what I like to refer to as like someone who is body-mind identified, which is basically where you think you're your thoughts, you think you're your emotions, you're too close to them, you don't have a healthy level of detachment from them, and so you can't observe them from a place of neutral perspective because you think you are them. If you are in this position and you're, let's say, having a disagreement with someone, right? All they have to do is say something to you which evokes an emotion, like anger, let's say, and then you're going to have that emotion of anger come up within you. You're going to identify with that emotion. That's going to then influence your behavior. You're going to lash out. They can essentially play you like a fucking puppet. Do you want that? Like, to me, personally, that's what I see as being disempowering. I see someone who hasn't mastered their internal world as someone who is at a disadvantage, not someone who has done the inner work, not someone who has actually put in the time, put in the hours, hired the coach, hired the mentor, worked with the individual, read the books, gone to the seminars, etc. I see the person who hasn't done that stuff, who is in a disempowered state and at a massive disadvantage, because they can literally be played like a puppet from other people. When you don't have control over your internal world and you're always in this state of running away, distraction, numbing, etc., you are very susceptible and very easily manipulated. Saying it how it is. That might fucking ruffle your feathers, and if it does, that just proves the point even more. If me saying that gets you in a state of like, fuck off, bro, you can't manipulate, that is literally the point, right? Something or someone, in this case it's me, the external stimulus, has said something to you it evokes an emotion, which then evokes the, behavioral response or the action in simpler terms. And so that is the work. That is the work. Your work is literally to cultivate a relationship towards the emotions and thoughts that come up, to the point where you have control over them and they don't have control over you. Because more than likely, unless you've done an immense amount of inner work, you right now are in a state of body-mind identification where you believe you're your thoughts, you believe you're your emotions, you're identified with these things. These things have a large amount of control over you. Now, a lot of guys too have the view of it being woohoo, right? Like, oh yeah, woo, like it's just, bro, it doesn't really matter, that sort of stuff. It's so far-fetched, whatever. There's actually not, that much woohoo-ness. what a funny word. There's not that much woohoo-ness around internal work. Like, yeah, there's some wild shit out there, right? Depending on who you speak to and whose definition of inner work it is. But for the most part, like, especially with me, like my philosophy around internal work, it's not very woohoo. It's very practical. It's very much so based in, enhancing and increasing someone's emotional intelligence. It's very much so like real life. It's like, you have thoughts, you have emotions. We're going to help you understand these things. We're going to help you cultivate a healthy relationship towards them. And in doing so, you're going to gain way more control, mastery of your life. And it's actually going to enhance your overall life experience. There's not much woohoo stuff about this. It's very practical. It's very much so based in realism and just like an applicable thing, a thing that you can literally learn, master, and then your life experience directly benefits from it. Okay, so it's not woohoo, it's definitely not weak. And I think the men who hold these views, they're almost in a state of, not projection, but more so like when we have something that we know we haven't cultivated very strongly, we're usually a little bit insecure about it. Now that's normal and it's natural to think like that. But the hindrance here comes after that insecurity. It's not the insecurity itself. The insecurity is fine. You can work on that. And usually the way that you overcome an insecurity is by facing it, owning your truth, and then by actually doing the thing you're avoiding doing. When it comes to the internal world, a lot of guys who know deep down that they have low levels of emotional intelligence and they don't have control over their internal world, they don't want to admit that, right? And why would you? It is a bit of a disempowering thing to say initially, but it's necessary, right? Like, if you genuinely are sitting here right now and you know to yourself, fuck, my internal world, I don't have much control over it. I need to run away. I need to numb myself. I need to do this. It's hard to say. It's hard to say because you're judging yourself. That's the only reason it's hard to say. But to own that, it's hard to say, but it's hard to own, but it's necessary. Because the moment you own it is the moment you gain power to change it. Linking this back to the whole point on insecurity, these men who, proclaim that this internal work is a waste of time, woohoo, XYZ, they are the men who have low emotional intelligence. They are the men who don't understand how to navigate their internal world. They are the men who are actually scared of facing themselves. Because the men who have done the work internally, the men who have genuinely cultivated a level of emotional intelligence and the ability to navigate their own internal world and also help other people navigate theirs as well, they know from direct experience that it is not a waste of time. You will never get a man who is enhanced and increased his emotional intelligence telling someone that internal work is a waste of time. Never. You will never get that. Because they know the process. They know the version of themselves that they were and who they become through doing the work. Okay, so all this like cultural programming and indoctrination around internal work being a waste of time, it is literally from the dudes who don't have emotional intelligence at all. They're like cavemen, like fucking apes, right? And it's like, well, would you listen to the people who you don't want to be like? Okay, like if someone has low levels of emotional intelligence and they can't navigate their internal world, they're always needing to escape. Are they the people that you want to take advice on around the internal world? Probably fucking not, right? That's probably not a wise idea. So that's those two things. Now, another thing I want to talk on is a lot of men do engage in self-development, okay? But there's usually two main areas that they focus on: money and physical development. Now, I'm all for these two things. Don't even get the gist that I'm against these things, because I'm absolutely not. I'm all for the gym. I'm all for martial arts. I'm all for training, getting the best possible shape you can. Literally like becoming the peak version of yourself physically. I'm all for that. Anyone knows me knows I'm obsessed with training, obsessed with fitness, obsessed with all things like that. And I'm all for financial development as well. Build the businesses, invest, cultivate genuine wealth within yourself, within your family. Like, become rich. There's nothing bad about becoming rich. There's nothing sleazy about it or anything like that. It is a worthy pursuit, and it is such a beautiful pursuit too. There's a whole video on this, but like business and genuinely making money is a whole path of self-development in and of itself, especially entrepreneurship. But that's a topic for another video. In this video, understand that most men only focus on the physical development and the financial development. They completely neglect their internal world, and a lot of cases too, they neglect their relational development. What I mean by relational development is, being in a relationship and learning how to navigate a relationship is in and of itself a skill. It's a set of skills, it's a set of understandings, and you need to understand certain dynamics, and you need to understand, a lot of things, right? A lot of men never look into that. They never look into the internal world either. And then they wonder why the internal world is fucking shit. They always need to escape, and also their relationship is shit. It's like, if you haven't taken the time to develop skills around particular areas, of course you're going to be shit at it. Of course you're not going to understand how to do it. You're not skilled in that arena. And that's not me degrading you or putting you down. It's just the cold truth. Like, what have I never done? I've never ridden a fucking camel, right? I don't know why that came to my mind, but I've never ridden a camel. So for me to ride a camel, I would probably be pretty fucking shit at it. But I'm sure there are people out there who are professional camel riders, right? That's just a skill they've cultivated that I have not. But if I put in the time and energy, I could become the best camel rider on earth if I wanted to do that. And just linking it back to your internal world, whatever your level of skill is right now in relation to your internal world, that's your starting point, right? It's not something to be scared of or something to be insecure about, but that's where you're starting from. And from there, you're going to grow and you're going to get better and you're going to improve. But in order to improve, you need to first admit you're not at the place you want to be at, because then that's going to create the motivation and desire to cultivate and to actually put in the energy and effort to do the inner work to then enhance your overall experience. And like, guys, women too, but women are more receptive to this sort of stuff. Women tend to be more open to the internal world. They tend to see the value in it a little bit more, whereas men are blindsided by this macho cultural indoctrination that, to be a man is to have no fucking feelings. You just gotta be this stoic, and I don't even want to use the word stoic because people have misinterpreted that too, but men think, oh yeah, to be a man, you just gotta be this emotionless fucking, there's emotionless man who doesn't feel anything and he just does, and it's all about action. And it's like, fucking shut up, bro. Shut up. You don't understand the depths of it. You don't understand how detrimental that is to yourself and also to every single person around you. To be a man is so much deeper than to just be this emotionless creature. That is not what you want to be deep down. And also in terms of like a partner and a family, that is not what your family wants. Your wife or your partner and your kids, they don't want you to be this emotionless fucking robot. No, don't get that confused with being the safe space in which they can come to. Very different things. As a matter of fact, I would also go to say, the more disconnected a man is from his internal world, the less capable he is of actually holding space and providing safety for those he loves. Because you can only meet individuals or other people to the depth you've met yourself. If you are completely disconnected from your emotions, and if you're completely, in denial that your internal experience is even a thing, when someone comes to you and they're, in distraught, like your wife might be crying about something or your kids, etc., you're gonna like freeze up, like, oh, what do I do? You might be able to provide some surface level comfort. Oh, it's okay, hug them. But then, you feel that awkwardness come up. And I know this feeling because I still see men to this day who operate like this. Like, they just don't have the capacity, the emotional capacity to hold space for people. And I also used to be this guy. Like, I literally used to have the worst emotional intelligence ever and really low levels of empathy when I was younger. I remember I would have like a partner crying to me or something, and I'm like, what do I do here? You know, like it felt weird, and it felt weird to me. I wasn't judging them. I was like, I just didn't have the capacity to do anything about it. I was like, what the fuck am I meant to do? It felt weird to me because I'd never connected to myself like that. Right. And also the masculine tends to just want to fix. So when a woman or whatever comes to us and they have a problem, instead of allowing them to vent and us to listen and us to just be the space in which they express, a lot of the time we jump straight to fixing. Now, fixing can be a part of it if they want it, but in a lot of cases, it's not what they want. So going back to the main topic, internal work, guys, like, do it. Like, it is, there's nothing else to say about it. Like, just do the internal work. Learn about your thoughts. Learn about your emotions. Learn how to observe your thoughts and emotions without becoming them. Learn how to process your emotions. Learn how to sit with these things. Start meditating. You know, you don't have to be a Shaolin warrior monk or a Shaolin monk on the top of the Himalayan mountains sitting there like to meditate, right? You don't have to be that. Meditation is something everyone can do. And for those who are watching this right now and you're thinking, oh, I don't know how to meditate, or I've tried meditating before, it doesn't work for me. That is bullshit, right? Firstly, if you don't know how to meditate, just learn, right? Just like any skill. Anyone who does anything doesn't know how to do it at the start. And secondly, it doesn't work on you. Yes, it does. Meditation works on everyone. It's just the case of you need to stick to it. You need to understand the principles. Real quick meditation technique here, or brief, I guess you could call it. When you meditate, I'll literally do it on camera. So sit however you want to sit. You don't have to do the mudras and whatever. I don't personally. I just hold my hands like that. You won't be able to see it's out of cam, but I just literally sit with my legs closed, like crossed over each other. Sit with my hands like that. I close my eyes. I breathe in through the nose. And then breathe out through the mouth. Now I want you to do that. So take a moment, deep breath in through the nose for 5 seconds. 3, 4, 5. Hold for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and release through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll notice even from that little experience, that little one breath, that one conscious breath, your nervous system would feel a little bit more regulated, right? And that's one part of meditation. It's a regulation of the nervous system, but there's also the other part, which is literally like building the muscle of awareness. In meditation, to come back to the how to do it, it's literally just breathing. Like, the breath is the anchor. There's so many different meditations, so this isn't like the one and only way, but a real simple entry to meditation is breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and observing the thoughts and emotions. And anytime you get caught up in the thoughts and emotions, which will absolutely happen, you just return to the breath. The breath is the anchor. It's the thing you always return to in this type of meditation. So breathing in through the nose, in through the mouth, out through the mouth, and then doing that continuously. When you get caught in thoughts and emotions, that doesn't mean you've failed. It simply means that you have been caught in thoughts and emotions. That's it. And then you return back. And that's the rep. Just like in the gym, when you're trying to build your biceps, you're going to do the bicep curls, and it's going to build the muscle of the bicep. In the same way, when you get caught in thoughts and emotions and you return back to the anchor, that's building the muscle of awareness. The more you do that, the more it becomes a part of your everyday existence. And eventually, I've been meditating for ages now, like over 5 years, over 7 years actually. And eventually the meditation experience, it's not just something you have on the cushion, it's something you take into everyday life. Every moment to moment is a meditation in its own way. It will do wonders for your internal world. It will do wonders for your nervous system. It'll do wonders for how you show up, for how you feel. It'll lower stress, which in turn, guys, will increase testosterone, because the more stress you have in the body, the less testosterone you have. Cortisol and testosterone are like opposing forces. So if that's something you need to motivate you, then so be it. And also journaling, like, you should have a journal, an in-person journal, like an actual pen and paper journal, and you should be writing out your thoughts and emotions. It doesn't have to be, dear diary, you know, dear diary, today no, it doesn't have to be some like iCarly type shit. Like, it doesn't need to be something like that, but it should literally just be a book where you write out what's going on internally. How I like to do it, I like to have the journal open. Obviously, I'm not going to write on the front fucking thing of my journal open and write in dot points. So any thought that comes into my mind or any emotion that appears within the body, I just write about it. Like I just say, oh, today's going to be a good day. I'm excited for this. I'm keen to do this, blah, blah, blah. Whatever comes up, I write it out. I have been journaling for 7 years, and it's actually pretty cool. No, more than 7 years. Since I was 15, for 10 years I've been journaling. And in some form, not like it's changed over the years, but it's cool actually for me to look back on my journals entries from 15 years old. Like I've pretty much every day for like 10 years I've been journaling, and I'm reading about my troubles as a 15-year-old and my obstacles, and I'm thinking about asking this girl out, I'm so scared, or whatever. Like I was a 15-year-old kid, right? Like it's so cool for me to be able to tap back into that and learn. And like sometimes I literally study my journal entries. Like when I say sometimes, it's actually pretty regularly, because the more you understand your internal world, the more you can help yourself navigate through it, right? But on top of all this, right, like you can do all this stuff yourself, and there's great benefit in it. But I would really recommend, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a coach and I help people with these sort of particular things, but work with someone. It does not have to be me. I say this on every video. Every time I recommend working with a coach, I literally say it doesn't have to be me. Work with anyone, any coach, anyone who you feel aligned with, but hire someone who's going to help you increase that emotional intelligence and master your internal world, because it will fast track your progression. Okay, it'll take something which usually takes like 5+ years to actually start getting some traction on, because it's a pretty intense thing, because you're going against conditioning of like your entire life up until this point. But when you hire someone, you fast track that entire process and you get the results much quicker. And the quicker you can get these results, the better your overall life experience will become, the better your relationships will become, the better your behavior will become, and your habits and stuff, they will just naturally improve. And just in general, the better you will feel on a day-to-day basis. And also for the men who, there are some men even who have this thing of like, oh, who cares about feeling good? Life is war, blah, 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 blah. It's like, sure. Okay, yes, life has obstacles. Yes, in a lot of cases, us men are going to, and women in some cases, we're going to be in this state of like, not essentially like feeling good, but we're going to be struggling against a worthy cause, right? We're going to be in this state of like struggle, and that's fine. But like, why wouldn't you want to feel as good as possible in this? The definition, I actually seen this yesterday, not the definition, but a definition of abundance, which I really like, is feeling good within yourself, about your life. Like just being like, I love myself, I love my life, and from that place, I'm going to create abundance, in comparison to operating from a place of scarcity, lack, and just genuine fucking self-hatred. So guys, I hope you got value from this video. I hope this has motivated you to start doing the inner work and to actually see the importance in doing it. It is not weak, it is not woohoo, it is not a waste of time. It is probably one of the best things you could ever do for yourself, for your relationship, for your family, for your goals, for everything in life. I know, speaking from first-hand experience, it is one of the best things I've ever done. Who I was before I did inner work and who I am after, it is night and day. I genuinely used to be an individual who had very low empathy, was driven by his impulses and desires, like, without any thought to it. I had very little control over my emotions, particularly anger. I was like, if I got angry, I'll just lash out. And yeah, I just think it has changed me in more ways than I could even explain. It has been such a profound experience for me. I'm still on the journey never ends, but I would really love to see other people take the time and get on the journey themselves as well, because it will change you, it will change everyone you interact with, and essentially it will change the world. That's a big part of why I make these videos. I know the chain effect of this. Even if 5 people watch this video, 5 people, that's all it, one person. If one person watches this video and they change because of it, right? If you are the person who's watching this video and you change because of this, and then you show up in a different way to those around you, they're going to take that. They're going to see your example, the way you're living, that's going to inspire them to change themselves. So don't underestimate the change and the power, more so the power you have to change others in the world. Okay, your act of improvement, especially towards your internal world, will inspire others to do the same. Everyone you interact with notices how you show up. Everyone you interact with notices your demeanor, your energy, right? If you want to use the term aura, Everyone notices this, and these things are cultivated through doing the internal work. When you're no longer running from yourself, when you're no longer in this place of distraction and escapism and always needing to run away, you become someone who is actually very attractive, by the way. Like, no, I'm not talking on a physical level, I'm talking on an energetic level. People notice others who are so content within themselves, and that's very attractive. Okay, I don't know, like, again, this is a topic for a whole nother video, but one of the traits that makes an individual attractive is not needing other people, but wanting them, right? It's like, let's say there's a male and a female. I find her attractive, she finds me attractive, I want her, I don't need her, she wants me, she doesn't need me. But that mutual wanting, not needing, makes it a very beautiful experience. We're both coming from a place of abundance, and we're both coming from this place of self-love and worthiness and, you know, contentment within ourselves. But we would like to merge this abundance together and come together in connection, right? In union. And that's a much more attractive state to come from in comparison to coming from a place of desperation, which a lot of people actually come from. A lot of people are in relationships purely because they can't be with themselves. That is a topic for another video, and it is a big one, and it is something that is an epidemic. But guys, if you want to reach out to me, have a conversation, talk about coaching, talk about the community, talk about anything, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. I'm always up for a convo. My Insta is Ricky Gorsey, spelt the exact same way as it is in my YouTube name. And yeah, guys, feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat. And if you got value from it, please like it, subscribe, share it with your friends. These little things, you know, it might not take much out of your day, but it does really make an impact on me. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to get this message out to more people. So like a simple share, simple like, simple subscribe, they really do help me. Just know that you guys are actually liking this sort of content, because my content, I know, is pretty fucking deep, right? The content I talk about, the stuff I talk about, it's very, like, it's got some fucking depth to it. And yeah, just those things let me know that you guys are liking what I'm creating, and it gives me an indicator that I should create more. So thank you guys, have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.